Oi sunshine, I'm up here. We're not dealing with the little one, we're dealing with the big one. And with Nora, we're going to be down there for a long time to come.
Oh, there he is.
Yes, so welcome to How Hard Can It Be? I'm Phil Murphy. This is a Nauticus 27 foot. That you were looking at 2 seconds ago is the Blue Missile, which we still need to sort out information wise. But we'll get rid of that for a minute because we're going on the deck. And it's going to start with that and this. And why are we up here? Because we've got our 400 grit paper that we are going to sand down, make it ready for some cream paint. Because that's what we're going to be doing this episode. With a little bit of the windows, putting them together. But I'm sick to death of the windows, so we won't talk about them for a while. Because they're done and dusted. So, what I've got to do is flat all this area off with this 400 grit, get it nice and smooth. This grey primer's been on for, it must have been on 6 months, 8 months, mustn't it, John?
Easily.
Easily, yeah. So, extremely hard, excellent for sanding down. This is where we're going to be concentrating on the side section and the front section, and of course that section, that's where the cream paint's going to go on first. Because we want to get the windows that we've sprayed, we want to get them in, get the rubbers on, and get this boat looking like a boat with some windows. So that's what we're going to tackle now. Once we've got that done, we can get the paint done on the top, get the windscreen on, get everything bolted down, and then once all that's done, we can then start putting all the fancy bits on. That's when it's going to get really exciting. So, should we get on with the episode? I think so. Good morning, or is it good afternoon for you, or is it even good evening? I don't know. But anyway, it's raining outside. I've got a broom in my hand. Johnny Boy's behind the camera. I've got a frog in my throat. I've also got bristles on my chin, which is a clue to what we're going to be doing very shortly. Bristles on the brush. So, what have I been doing while you've been waiting for the next little clip? Well, as I said, that up there has got to be flatted down, which it has been. And you're going to see that very shortly because John's going to climb up there and show a shot up there. But in the meantime, what I've done, remember this t-shirt? This was me rolling and tipping t-shirt, which is my painting t-shirt. I have also flatted down this because I wasn't totally enamoured with the dry sections. And if you remember and cast your mind back to the time when I did this side, there was little dry spots halfway down every quarter and so on in certain areas, and it bugged the hell out of me. All through doing everything else that I did, my eye kept going straight to it. Now I know when it's on the water and it's wet and there's scratches on it from other boats bumping into it, you're going to say, well, what's the point? But it's not. It's here and I can see it. So I decided to completely flat this side. While I was flatting that, I was in the mood and I decided to do the whole side again because I have got plenty of paint, blue paint, to do it. So there we go. That's not going to get touched for a while because we're concentrating on up there. And I think it's time that we finished our brews, John. We go up there and we show our colleagues what we've done, what I've done.
What he's done.
I've done. Welcome aboard, everybody. So here we go. We're on the top of the boat. You can see how nice these lines are looking now. I mean, I don't know when the last time you saw the top of this boat, but there was lots of bits all over the place, things sticking out of it, holes in it and everything. As you can see, this is a really nice, clean environment. It's flatted down. It's a shame that you can't touch on the screen because this is really, really smooth. I would be quite proud of this if it was on a vehicle ready to be coated up. So, the screen. This is where the screen goes. So it's here on a sort of slight diagonal, and that way there too. And they are the original holes that you probably won't see there, but they're just holes in the boat, are where the screen gets bolted into position. Now, fortunately, for the paint side of things, we've got this bead that runs the whole length of the roof. Now, I'm going to take the opportunity of masking a line on either the top of it, I haven't decided yet, either on the top or just in the crux of where that is there, on this side or on that side, I'm not sure. And the reason for that is, I have learnt when I did the side of the boat, it was difficult to retain a wet edge. Now, my theory is with this is too big to retain a wet edge at all times. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to compartmentalise this whole job. And that is, I'm going to do half of this roof, because I'm sure that I would be able to retain a wet edge at all times, all the way down to the front. And if you notice, you'll see that this bead goes all the way down to the front tip of the roof. So I'm going to treat one side for one day, take the masking tape off. Okay, I'll have a sharp edge, but I'm not overly bothered about that because I can finish that edge at some point because we've got somewhere to finish it too. And then the following day, I'll then do the next side. Now, I appreciate that the roll of the roof sort of blends into the side of the boat, and I will have to at some point decide whether I'm going to mask off a line, but I'm hoping that with some 1200 grade paper, if I overlap a completely dry section with a section that I'm going to paint, I should be able to flat that off and lose it in some way. That's my theory in my head, and I think I'm going to go with that flow because I can't stand a dry brushed edge over new paint because it sets like that and it spoils the whole aesthetic look. I know people won't be able to see it, but I know it's there, and that drives me insane. So that's what I'm going to do. But before we do that, we obviously it's all been flatted. It's not been cleaned. I'm not going to clean it until the day that we actually start painting it, because what we're going to do is John will show you, or we'll both show you where I'm going to start painting the cream, and that is, we're obviously wanting to get the windows in, so we're going to do the sides, the front two windows and all the way around the side, because this side and that side has a natural finishing edge. We've got a lip underneath the boat, which I can show you here.
Should I go down?
Yeah, well, I was just going to show this front edge, and then we can show a shot down there. But we've got a natural finishing edge here, and we have a natural finishing edge on the base of where we're walking at the moment, on the deck side. So we can mask off down there, and and I can use that as a finishing edge. I don't even need to mask it because we can roll over and then just paint underneath, and nobody will see it. So that is a great part to do without, creating any lines or what have you. But as I said to you, this is a natural edge that goes right to the front. We're fortunate with that because we can get away with a mask line, and then we can use 1200 grade to get rid of it, and hopefully nobody will be any the wiser, and everything should look like glass. So that's what we're going to do. Now we can go down. Should we go down?
Downstairs?
Yeah. Well, we have got steps.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. Good to go. Right, so back down here again. So this is as smooth as the top because that's all already been done. The paper I used, by the way, was 400 grit. I've got a piece of 400 grit around. Excuse me a second. Oh. but from an auto shop. So it's waterproof paper, electric coated flexed, and it's that. Got it? Excellent. So I cut that into quarters, A4 size sheets. I got 4 pieces out of it, basically folded it in half. What I did with the grey, I dry sanded that. Naturally, I wet sanded that. I didn't want to be honest, I didn't want to wet do the grey because A, it gets absolutely everywhere. It'd drip into the boat, to go down all the ply that I've put in there. So I avoided that, so I dry sanded that bit. It's up to you what you do, but that's what I did anyway. So 400 grit. 400 grit was enough to bite into the paint and also not create too many deep scratches. There's hardly any scratches there at all, so I'm hoping the thickness of the paint, I mean, don't forget, we're not spraying it on, we're not thinning the paint out in any way, so the paint thickness should should absorb the scratches on the grey. We'll soon find out anyway. Cool. Right, what we're painting first is this side section here. And as I said to you up on the upper deck, that the roof line finishes there naturally, so we can take the paint, we can take this paint up to there, and we can leave that as a natural edge. And obviously down below here, we can leave the deck, where the deck meets the side section, we can leave that as a natural edge. So this is obviously the section that we're going to be painting. This edge continues all the way down the shape of the boat, and then we can take it to the furthest point, which is this corner here. We can use that as a natural edge too, because don't forget the back section of the boat is in its virgin state. It's literally had one coat of primer because there's going to be a major construction going on at the back. I say construction. Either the end drive's going to come out or it's not going to come out. We've still got to decide that. That's a bit of a nightmare.
Could be a demolition then.
Well, not so much a demolition, but we'll get onto that as another episode. I don't even want to talk about the back end. So that's what we're going to do. Of course, this follows round to the front. I could use this edge here as a natural break point if I wanted to stop and not continue and go another day carrying on at the front. I could use that bend as a natural break and allow it to set and then continue the following day, because it's hard to describe, but when you've got an edge like that and you have a line of a masking line and then you bring your paint, you can blend the paint out by using a 1200 grit paper to lose that sharpness of the edge. But we'll see how we go. But then we're going to go all the way around until we get to the other side. So that is the first stage of getting the cream on. I will be using my blue tape as the line tape, because when you put it off, it doesn't leave a jagged edge, it leaves a nice pencil line. So that's the tape we're going to use where we're going to use any break off points. So that's the next stage. So stay tuned and we shall start putting the cream on. Okay, so before we can paint, we have to clean the surface. I'm using acetone. And this just cleans all the dust. I mean, it was thoroughly hoovered yesterday or last night. There was no point using this acetone last night because obviously dust travels. So it was easier to do this before I start painting, which is exactly what I'm doing now. So just getting as much as we can off. So I don't need to clean any further than this point here because we're going to be finishing there. sent John off for more of this because I'm going through it like it's going out of fashion. You can actually see how much comes off. Anyway, you don't need to see me cleaning all this, but it gives you an idea of what you've got to do before you start painting. Right, so what have we got to do now? Got to clean the front two windows. As you can see, I've already started. There's the cream, good colour, awful looking finish at this stage, but we're not overly bothered about that because we just want to put some colour on it, get some foundation in there, and then we can build the coats up. So although we are rolling and tipping to a certain degree, you know, we're not expecting an amazing finish. What I have noticed is this paint is a lot thinner. Now it could be that it's, you know, the temperature generally is increased and I'm painting this at a different stage than when I painted the blue. It's become a lot more easy to use, but I have noticed it is a lot thinner. So it'll be interesting to see how we go along. But I'm not over bothered about the finish at this stage because I just want to get some colour on. I'm using a narrow brush. I don't know whether it's the right thing at this stage. My theory is because the areas are only small, it's a good opportunity because it is the first coat to see how it tips off. So we'll see how we go. Actually, it's not bad. It's tipping all right, that. Like I say, ignore the fact that it's horrible at that end. The main concern is these areas here. Do you know what? I think after second coat, that looked absolutely beautiful. My God. I'll tell you something, John.
It looks really good from here with the lights behind it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. That is so much better than this attempt. Okay, well.
Maybe it's because the paint is thinner.
Yeah, maybe you're right. It might be that the paint is thinner and it's easier to go on.
Right, I'm going to get a tripod because this must be driving the viewer mad.
Okay. Absolutely amazing. The first coat, I mean, it's patchy. But wow.
The speed at which it's going on compared to the blue coat is easily noticeable as well.
But I can already tell it's going to look amazing. I mean, disregarding the fact that it's patchy and it's the first coat, it's actually the glass finish that I'm getting. It seems to be I'm achieving with the first stroke. It's really, really good. So I mean, it's the same paint apart from the colour as the blue. So I can only imagine it is the temperature.
The same make.
It's the same make, yeah. It's the same. It's the same product, it's just a different colour. That's all. I'm just wondering whether I should tip with a smaller brush.
Why?
I seem to be able to go a lot faster, and the bristles seem to be, I don't know, I can't describe it, but I know as soon as I go across it.
Oh, I'm sorry, you mean you prefer that brush than the bigger one you were using?
I seem to prefer it with the, yeah, I could be wrong with the blue. When we come to do another coat on this, I could be wrong, it might not work. But I'm already like it. I mean, when I first put it on over there, I thought, oh, this is going to be horrible to deal with. But as soon as you roll and tip, it's really, really good. Pissing about with that.
Just trying to come about it. Mirror finish.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'm excited because this isn't the finish that we're going to eventually have.
But that's all it takes to get you excited.
Yeah, it is. I tell you, this is going to be good. I can already tell by the way this is going on. It's deceptive. It feels like water. It feels like there's no coverage whatsoever. Why don't you leave the light? Totally leave the light. Stop trying to improve on something that's all right. It does fiddle, you know. Fiddles a lot.
Because you're not looking at it from this angle.
Well, we'll have a look at the recording. There is another coat to go on, you know. This paint seems to like speed with the tipping aspect of it. that. I'm really happy with this. So we'll just give this a little bit of a coating, and then we'll tip off round there up to it. These window jams, as I'm going to call it, don't have to be anything special, because there's going to be rubbers covering most stuff.
Rubber seals.
Covering most of them. Yeah, the reason why the live viewers keeps going off is because
You can't use that word.
John dropped it in a very awkward way and broke it.
So,
By the way, me going all like this, I don't know whether that's the correct way or not, but it feels good. I could do this all day.
it's very arty and
I love
flamboyant.
doing it. I'll tell you, I absolutely love this. I wonder if because it's not too hot and the weather's a bit damp. You know, it's raining outside and there's moisture in the air and it's just keeping everything a bit. Tell you. I'm grinning from ear to ear.
Which
What?
way?
Which way? What? Why?
Which ear to which ear?
That one, that.
It was actually raining when we were rolling and tipping last time because we had to close the door.
Did we?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, it was cold.
We can't do that now, can we? Close the door. Why's that?
Because of the blue missile,
Because the blue missile,
which we don't know anything about.
which we don't know anything about. Help. Well, we've got 210 subscribers, have we now?
Yep.
There must be somebody somewhere must be able to go, I remember those boats in 1962. Somebody somewhere will know something about that boat. Not necessarily that particular one, but something about that type of a boat.
Somebody's grandfather worked on that boat.
Somebody somewhere. Well, like I say, it was sold up in Clyde at a proper boat, speedboat, Shakespeare dealership in Clyde, because it has a plaque on it saying so. And I Google mapped it, the address, and it seems to be a furniture shop now, ironically.
Well, don't knock those.
Don't knock those, no. So you've got to be mindful of drips with this stuff.
I've noticed.
Where? Have I got a dribble?
Yes.
Whereabouts?
And
Is it?
those under the little hooks.
Oh, underneath on the face, on this flat bit. Okay.
Get that off.
Yeah.
How's it for coverage?
Oh, seems to cover. Well, it seems to be really thin going on. But when you tip it, it just seems to drop into all the places where it needs to drop, and then you seem to get a nice sort of glass finish. It's hard to describe, really. Well, whatever is happening, I'm extremely pleased so far. With the way this is tipping off. It just seems to flow beautifully. I'm amazed. Must be my lucky t-shirt. Let's hope I get 10,000 views on this one. Unless, you know, it's something to do with the fact that that's been flat off with 400s and it's such a good smooth finish. And that wasn't. Maybe that's the reason why it's so glass-like. I don't know why I did that. Got this to do. Still got a wet edge as well.
Well, you need a wet edge.
You do.
Nothing wrong with a wet edge.
You can't get that finish when you brush it on and then try and get a tipped finish. You can't do it. It doesn't work. It has to be rolled. See how it's pulling the paint off the top of it? Yeah. Where it hasn't been rolled. Oh, got a grip bit. Full transfer.
Is that you?
Yeah.
You want me to go inside and tell that off?
That?
It's okay.
No. It is thin because if you roll it quick, it splashes at you. Okay, so when I pull it from that lip to that lip, I seem to create a patch. So what I'll do is I'll sort of drop my brush into it midway and pull the paint back over that lip, I think. How's it look from where you are?
Pretty stunning.
Yeah? I think it's far superior finish to that. So, Here he is. Fine. Let's pull it back over that lip. All good. So if you, let's say for example, you wanted to say that's a wrap and you wanted to finish just one side only, and you had anything like that, for example, a rounded edge. If you left it like that, I think, personally, that would be a great edge to then continue over there, because as you can see, the paint's sort of feathered out. There's no direct line or anything, and it's right on the edge itself. So when I start tipping on it, as you will see, I could, in effect, take the brush, the dry brush, and just flick it over so it leaves spider effect, and then you would then come over with your new or the following day or whatever this way, and then you would then use your brush to brush into this side, so all the brush area would be literally on that area there, and I think you would get virtually an invisible scene. Idea is not to paint yourself, of course, which I've just done. Oh, you little fly.
Smell your left arm, Phil.
Yeah, I've left it too long on that edge there. Just a bit grainy there, but Feel like I'm in a disco. I think I'll leave that corner. Ready for the next coat. I don't want to push it any more than it needs to. Okay. I'm just finding it easier to put where it's so small an area to get the roller. I'm just going to have to use the brush. I'm also fully aware that it's very difficult to tip. Maybe don't brush unless I try to tip the wet brush, which I'm doing now. I'm just experimenting to see whether I get a good finish. Actually, I don't seem to have got a hot job there. If you can hear the rain, by the way, I do apologise. It's coming down like stair rods now. But I'm not bothered because I think the weather has contributed to keeping this paint wet. It actually tips off all right with that small brush now. I'm just running out of paint now, so that may be a perfect opportunity to call it a day with this episode.
And that was only a small tray of paint as well. Nice done well.
Yeah, it tells. So, as I've said, what basically okay, first coat on. Extremely happy with what has gone on so far. I reckon it's going to look tremendous when this gets hard and we flat it off and then we go again. I think we're going to be in for a treat. Colour-wise, what have we put on? Well, it's International Top Lac and the colour is 812 Cream. That's the colour that we are putting on today. So I think what a great episode that's been. I'm very happy with what we've done. Thank you so much for watching. I apologise for the light and the rain and stuff, but you know what? It's a one-take thing. This is what we do.
The light's fine.
What?
The light is fine.
Right, yeah. It's what we do. We just go with the flow, and there we have it. So thank you so much for watching. Please like, please subscribe, and part 2 will be very, very shortly. Bye for now.